Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to our English News Edition. Thank you for joining us. The new changes to the Criminal Code have been appealed to the Constitutional Court by the Association of the Protection of Traders. The amendments include prison time for business owners who are caught violating the code. In light of their appeal, the association has asked that these measures be suspended until a final decision is made by the court. They believe that the penalties are too harsh, containing punishments that range up to 10 years in prison. They believe that these changes are in conflict with the basic principles of the Constitution. According to the amendments, business owners that do not declare their employees or do not register their activities will face up to 3 years in prison. Those who trade in counterfeit oil products will be given up to 5 years in prison, and those that are caught smuggling up to 10 years in prison. Meanwhile, the Chamber of Commerce and Industry has submitted another complaint to the Constitutional Court about the law on tax procedures. This law is already suspended by the court based on another petition by the Association for the Protection of Traders. In a meeting with the Business Association today, the Minister of Finance announced that the second phase of the Operation Against Informality will be focused on the big business sector. According to the minister, the audits will be conducted based on an analysis of risk, and tax inspectors will perform the audits from their own offices. Thanks to the new VAT platform, Minister Tsani explained that the goal of the new platform is to withdraw the tax inspectors from the field, even though this may not be easy to accomplish. The second part of today's meeting was held behind closed doors, and the media was not allowed to observe. Sources from within the meeting tell us that the new public and private partnership for the collection of the VAT was the main point of the discussion. The business reps asked the minister to arrange for adapting their cash registers to the new platform in order to avoid any additional cost for the businesses. The minister gave assurance that the problem will be solved before the tender is issued. The economic experts are saying that the diminished exports in 2015 are a clear indicator of the problems that the business sector is facing. According to them, the low export numbers indicate that Albania's economy is not competitive and that the products that are being made in Albania are not performing well against others in the market. Instat reports that trade within the countries of the European Union made up 66.6% of the entire international trade in 2015. Which is down from 68% the year before. Albania's primary trade partners are Italy at 36.9%, Turkey at 7.4%, China at 7.2%, and Germany at 7% of international trade. The Democratic chairman Lulzim Basha spoke today at the Assembly of the European Popular Parties on the political situation in Albania. Mr. Basha accused the Prime Minister of hampering the justice reform. He said that the majority is divided in its stance on the reform and reported that the two majority parties sent separate drafts to the Venice Commission. He made the claim that the Prime Minister does not actually want to reach consensus on the reform because his goal is to take control of the justice system. Basha told the Assembly that Albania is currently being run by gangs and crime, and that Prime Minister Rama wishes to put the justice system under their control. Mr. Basha was also received by the president of the EPP, Joseph Daul, as well as other high-ranking officials. He spoke to them about the economic crisis that has gripped the country, the high level of corruption, and the need for free and honest elections. In Vlora today, Prime Minister Rama addressed the members of the Socialist Party from Vlora and Gjirokastra. He repeated that he will not withdraw from the reforms his government has undertaken, despite the critics and the potential electoral cost. According to the Prime Minister, these reforms should have been made much earlier, as they are vital for the progress of the country. Mr. Rama said, "The Socialist Party is a party with a transformative vision, and it considers every Albanian to be its ally. We have taken the fate of the country in our hands, and we will continue with our reforms. It is not easy, but we will not withdraw. If the reforms had been done earlier, the situation would be different today. But we will not stop. We are determined to give the country a new vision, said the Prime Minister. He praised the alliance with the SMI, saying that it was the right partnership for implementing the best program for the Albanians. Thanks to the support of the people and the alliance with the SMI and other parties, we have managed to give the country a government that has undertaken the most ambitious program of reforms, said Rama. The Socialist MP Kokodima also spoke about the solid partnership between the SMI and the Socialist Party. We should work together to increase the mutual trust, he said, and not to allow anyone to violate our agreement. We cannot be a solid majority without the socialist movement for integration. Sali Berisha is the only one who would benefit from a break between the SMI and the SP, said Kokodima. A celebration was held yesterday evening for the 5th anniversary of the political program Tonight Il Vetare. It was attended by prominent figures of the state such as Prime Minister Edi Rama and the Assembly Speaker Ilir Meta. It was also attended by representatives of the opposition, ambassadors, leaders of the religious communities, and other friends of the program. Tonight Il Vetare was broadcast for the first time on Ora News TV on January 28, 2011, just after the tragic events of January 21st. The first guest on the program was the chairman of the opposition at that time, Edi Rama. Now, after 5 years, the program has aired 700 shows and hosted more than 2,500 guests discussing the political issues and developments of the country. The list includes famous world dignitaries like the journalist David Frost and the former director of communications and strategy for Tony Blair, Alastair Campbell. The ambassador of the OSCE made a speech at the reception yesterday evening, as well as the president of Ora News, Ilie Ndroçi, and Il Vetare herself. Ambassador Raunig had this to say: "The invitation I received to give a speech at the 5th anniversary of Tonight Il Vetare might be a side effect of a phenomenon that seems to be unique in the Balkans, a close relation between the media and the diplomats. But where does this relationship stem from? I think that it has to do with the way the Balkan people, and especially the Albanians, receive foreigners. The media has a responsibility in forming the present and future of the country, and the program Tonight Il Vetare has played an important role. Ilva has a gift for selecting the right topics and does her work with professionalism and energy. The guests on her program face a combination of impartiality and persistence. Ilva, I wish you and your program all the best for the coming 5 years as well," said Mr. Raunig. Il Vetare addressed the reception as well with the following speech. 25 years after the fall of communism, we are lucky that the parties do not dictate the television content. However, the symptoms of a mentality that tries to control the freedom of speech are still strong, not only from one, but from many stakeholders. In these decades, we have been witnesses of how politics have both befriended and unfriended the media. We have been witnesses of strained relations. Of course, these things have made my work difficult, but not the mission that I have in my relation with the citizens of this country, said Mrs. Tare. Lastly, the reception was addressed by the president of Ora News, Ilie Ndroçi. 5 years ago, we decided to trust the Tonight program to Il Vetare, convinced that it would be praised by the public, and so it has been. I have had the pleasure to support this program in its best and worst moments. I am proud of Tonight, which, like all of our programs, serves the public with professionalism and will always be close to them, said Mr. Ndroçi. Thanks for joining us once again for our English edition. Have a great night and see you tomorrow at the same time.